So here's my donut from using paper mache clay. And I'm going to be painting it today. So the first thing you want to do is you want to do a glaze. And your glaze can be a straight line. So you're either going to draw a straight line, or as I'm doing, I'm just going to scroll my pencil across the way. And it's naturally going to curve to the texture in my clay. Now, you could sand this down, but I chose not to, so I've done the glaze, and I'm going to be painting the donut itself. My favorite type of donut is a chocolate glaze. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm scumbling it in. I'm making sure that I can get all the paint into the little crevices. Going in there, spreading the paint around. You could use the natural shape of the brush to just press down and pull down. You could do that. That would be fine. But I'm just going to go ahead and scumble it in, meaning I'm putting it right into all the little crevices. Be very careful when you're doing this, because you don't want to get your fingers wet, because then you'll end up painting another area the color that you don't want. Now, you'd want to do that all around, but for time's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and paint the sides. I'm not going to bother doing the bottom, but you go ahead and wait in between the layering of the paint. And I've got my donut. So that looks pretty chocolatey. Now I'm going to just clean off my brush. I'm going to move the paint off to the side. There's my donut. I'm going to go ahead and clean this off, and I just got a little bit of chocolate on my little white. Okay, so I love a strawberry glazed donut, so I'm just going to go ahead and add the paint. And for this one, you want to go ahead and you want to paint the top, the center, and the sides. You want to mix up a paint. It can be whatever glaze flavor you want. You can do vanilla, another chocolate frosting on top, but you'd want to change the value or the tonality of the paint. And I'm just going to continue, just quickly adding my strawberry glaze on there. Now be careful not to mix it with a brown, because you'll get more of a brownish pink. But if you don't mind, don't worry about it. I'm just going to continue to add. Now what I'm doing with my brush is I'm going up and down like a little jackhammer and just jackhammering it in. And that does a little bit of, it really actually puts it into all the little clay crevices. Just going to go ahead and keep doing that all around. I'm trying to go as fast as I can here. Up and down. Good. Get some more. Notice that it's getting a bit too red. I'm just going to add a little bit of white to it. And just keep scumbling it in. Add a little bit more white to my paint and really get that strawberry glaze in there. Now, if you wanted it to be very watery and glazy, you could add a little more water to your paints, and you could do more of a drip painting. That would be fine too. Notice that I'm holding my donut as best as I can. Really getting the paint in there, scumbling it in as best to get paint into the crevices. And I'm just going to use the side, and I am going to add the glaze to the inside. I'm not going to be that careful as far as the glaze is concerned, because a little bit of your donut underneath will still have to be a chocolatey. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it over, and this is where I could add, notice I don't have to clean my brush when I go from a lighter color to a darker color, because we know that the color, as we go up that ladder or the value scale, the colors that are above everything else underneath, if you were to have like a ladder type scale, they would be able to be covered by any color that's above it. I'm just going to continue really scumbling that in, and I think that's good. Now I got a little bit of a chocolate into my strawberry, no big deal. I'm just going to take enough paint and just dab it in, make sure that I don't disturb the paint. And I got my donut. Now, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to design my donut. Now, there are several things that I can do, and one of the things that I was thinking of doing is actually doing what Jae Young Kim does, and he adds some rhinestones like this. So I'll be gluing some of these in. I'll also be adding some dots with my paint, some designs. I could go in there and I could do a green dot, just adding some patterns in there. It's your donut after all, so you can design it however you would like. You can do some jimmies by adding different colored paints and going in there. Now I would be using either hot glue to add my diamonds, or I would be adding with a tacky glue. So I'm just adding these little specks of color in there to become jimmies. And there's my donut.